Hey yeah folks, this is Shantron here, and today we're going to be looking at some combat footage from my recent Dark Nature Angels playthrough. I was requested to put up some footage of my combats so that people could see how the build functioned both in the early, the mid, and the late game. I've tried to scrape together what best I can, and what's coming here is going to be that. We are starting out from turn 1 already. This is the very first fight. We have 2 Pursuers, Scout, and a Dark Warrior available. You can see they were quite spread out from the beginning. We are going to put them in here in the middle so that we can lure our enemies. Our enemies are 2 Slitherers and one of the big ones. I can't recall what they're named. Skirmisher unit Slither. It's called Slither, and the other are called Slitherlings. Then this is just going to be stream of consciousness. I'm going to be commenting on what we see. As you can see, we marked as prey on it, and then we're going to be taking it down. I believe I take it with the Dark Warrior here, in order for him not to get close. It's also easier. Now it blinked away. It could have blinked into the back, and it would have been easier to reach with the ranged units from there. We kill it, and they go around, deal a little bit of damage. We mark up as prey on one of them, move up, eat some stuff, shoot it a bit, and then I believe we take it down with the archer afterwards. I may have been a little too conservative here. Mark as prey on the other one there, and we just take them down. It should be quite easy by this point. There's no reason to lose any units or really take a lot of damage here. I don't mind spending the mana because we get all of it and more back there. The next fight we took on, I'm not going to be showing all of the fights, we're just going to be taking a selection of what we had from the beginning. Yeah, these 5 Slitherlings, that's apparently hard for me to say. Once again, we're taking a little too much damage here, so we want to be replaying that as well. We are at turn 3, so we have an extra unit available. We have rushed it out in order for it to be able to go with the hero group so that we can take on all the combats that we need to here in the beginning. This game was not a game where I had a lot of good fights early on, unfortunately. But as you will see later, we did have some nice magic materials nearby. We just needed the strength in order to be able to take those on. We move up to the high ground here, force them to come. They even move together here, which is even better for us. We can sap strength on all of them. You can see in the way that I play here, I often look around at a lot of my units before I actually do anything, just trying to get an idea of what options I have available. I think I marked as prey the wrong one here. I marked as prey the one up at the end there. I do want to kill it with my Dark Warriors eventually, because it's a good position he can go into without being in combat when like in melee combat with any of the other ones. We prefer that if they run away from him and shoot him rather than if they get a full 3 attack turn on him. But we do want to use him. It's also why he goes up there now, so he's exactly in the position I want him. And these guys try to take out as many of the other ones as they can. You will notice I've put my scout in the closest position down here. This guy gets marked as prey, but he's standing in foliage. The reason I want to take him out, and we had the overchannel and marked as prey, and the other guy here, I believe, was what just happened. Charge up and take care of that. You should be able to shoot here. Instead of shooting the one where I have 90% chance of hitting, we're going to shoot the one with 50% because it's in a worse position. It would be able to step around and take 2 attacks on our archers. We don't want our archers here to take any damage. Now it went for the scout that I had put in position instead. I was lucky that he didn't die. He took a little more damage than I thought he would actually, but he survived, and I didn't care about the damage on him because he's going to go scouting. The next here is just a little mana, and this one we handled by auto combat. Now we are at turn, I believe it was 7 or something like that, where I took this one. This is the first magic material. As you can see, we have a couple of, I think 1 extra Pursuer Archer now, yeah, and then it's just the same gang from before with a little damage on it from earlier. Here I'm considering how to engage this. You can see I put my hero in a position where he would probably be able to sap strength and maybe be able to tank a bit. If they want to go down here later, I can move the archers around. But I believe I decide not to engage here because I can't find a good engagement except on the shield unit. It's Eagle Warrior. I don't want to go for that one. Eagle Knight, whatever he's called. So I flank out in as far as I can go out with both of my archers to either side, and then I keep this group in the middle to lure them in. He has double Lightbringer, Lightseeker, whatever they're called, the mind controllers in the back here, and I am a bit afraid of them, so I tried to line up so I could deal a bit of damage to both of them, but that was not an option. Sometimes the spell doesn't want to do that. He succeeds on both mind controls, which is a little bad. But once you kill them, you get your unit back with the full pips. So we go up here, and the idea is that we're going to take out the mind controller here, blinking into position, but it just doesn't kill it. So we need to use another spell in order to get it down. That means we get our archer here, which we kind of want because we want to get that guy down as soon as possible. We don't want our archers to be shooting on ourselves. We're gonna get one round of them shooting. That's gonna be how it is. They're moving up there, and you can see how much damage they dealt to my my dark warrior there. We really don't want that to be happening. So take it down. They go boom when they die, so I'm happy that I'm mostly archer focused here. It is. I think I moved this guy into position now. It's not ideal, but he eats first at least, and I think they only deal 15 damage, so it should be okay for him moving into position here. It's probably gonna be my ruler that's gonna take the brunt of it here. He doesn't have a melee weapon, so he's a little in a bad spot there. But at least I think he gets the stab thing. Knight up didn't take the retaliation away from it, which is a little harsh. And you can see he got quite low there. We still survived, and he is healed up a little bit for the next fight here we're going for. They all have. I've built outposts just here nearby to claim the resources we're clearing and to rest up in. Here I lose a tier 2 spider. That's not going to be okay. When we summon in animals and we get a tier 2, we want to keep it as much as possible. So we're taking a new one. There's going to be a lot of the fight from the early game. Then I think I've got a few from the mid game where it plays a bit like that. But often at that point you can handle a lot of it with auto combat. The early game here I always want to go for manual combats whenever I lose a unit. Basically, we want to lure, if at all possible, we want to lure the enemy into the middle here. Even though they have quite a lot of archers, our archer strength is higher, so to speak, and we're in the lucky position that they move these guys up to a spot where some of my archers at least could straight up attack them. We have marked him as prey, and we want to be shooting him as low as possible before we engage with anything. If we even do that, we might just kill him from range. I don't like engaging with polearm units, if at all possible, so shoot, and he still doesn't die. As you can see, I'm considering going up and killing him with that guy, but I think we find out that that's another option here. Yeah, spiders go in. I believe the spiders are gonna go in and kill him there, so that we can get these guys up in front. We want the summoned units, of course, to be able to take out. As you can see, I've chosen Summon Elemental as my first one here. This means that we get military outposts a little faster, and I didn't mind taking the Tome of Seal later on if I had to. It turns out in this playthrough I don't have to, but that's not too important. Lot of misses, but at least it got a weakened stack, which means it deals a little less damage, and it goes for our spiders, so we are happy that it dealt that less damage, but it leaves our elemental in a great position there to do a lot of AoE later. We move up and we hurt them before they get knocked into weird positions where we're not certain that we can. At least for those of them where we can get a good attack. And then we are just going to try for the AoE Elemental Blast in a second, I believe. Oh, a nice AoE from the Spider, and boom, shakalaka there. We still have the units here. It's not the most interesting combat at this point, but as you can see, it plays a lot like a normal archer build, with the Marcus Prey being like the really strong part here. You deal a lot more damage once you mark the units, and you can really feel that you can take down a problem target whenever you want to. And now there's just a scout left to move into a melee position. He can't really do a lot about that. But then he should die now. Please. Good. Stack down, a little bit of damage, spread out. We can go straight to the next fight here. Once again, we are going to be losing archers. If we take the auto combat, we can't allow that. It's probably going to be the unicorn. So we have noticed that they have that, and that's kind of a problem unit for our archer backline. So let's see if we can get them to, once again, head into a position where we can be focusing our fire on the unicorn, maybe take it down before it even gets a turn. Pull them towards the middle here. Utilize the fact that I think we're gonna try to see if we had been able to land immobilize on the unicorn here. It resisted, which had a quite high chance to do, so that was fine. Move up into the foliage in order to be less in trouble, if possible. You can see we got the immobilize on 2 units here, so the front zealots or whatever they are caught there. Marcus Prey on the unicorn if we didn't do it before. I believe that was what was happening, and we want to take it down. It doesn't really deal that much damage, but at least it's in a nice position. I think we tried for a second immobilize there that didn't work either. So we have to kill it before, and I do think we have the firepower to do that. I am a little scared about what to do here if the unicorn survives. We're going to have some trouble, and we don't want that. So what I do is, of course, move up and shoot something else, which is strictly stupid. So maybe I wasn't that scared about the unicorn dying. Maybe I'm just scared about, yeah, that's it. I moved this guy up now, so he's in the position there in order to strike stuff. I do believe we are able to take down the unicorn here. And we were. And whatever was left here was quite low, and I believe it didn't even attack anything relevant either. That was a big oopsie there. This unit here turned out to be a Zephyr Archer. I had not noticed that. I just thought it was like a regular little archer dude, and he nuked our entire archer group here. So that was a horrible play from me. But that's how it goes sometimes. If you see little dwarven archers, you don't think that they are gonna be awesome. But there's a little 3 next to the name, and that was bad. Luckily, it did not cost us our unit there. That would have been even worse. But I'm just gonna keep him back now so that this last guy can't get to him, and then we can take him out with whatever else we have. We need to spend at least a turn or two now to rest up. But luckily, the next fight that we really want to take was, I think, 2 turns later. It's right nearby there. This magic material is the last thing we really need to clear in order to have access to 2 very great work camps up there where we were at. Work camp outposts, of course. You can see we have quite a lot of animals by now. 4 of them summoned in, and we still have our now 5 archers. Are we at? It looks like. So we've gotten the next one ready as well. Or am I just maybe it's only 4? Oh, we do have 5 archers. Summoned units in front, animals in front. We don't care that much about those guys. If we want to get some experience for some of our units, I want it to be our archers. The animals can die. That obviously we're gonna get experience on anything, and we don't want units to die. But if anything dies, it must be an animal. I do believe something dies in this fight. We lost an archer when we tried before. Probably the archer that was low from the Zephyr fight before. In this one here, we tried to move all the expendable units up front, and it took down the spiders. Yeah, so we're gonna lose. We lost the spiders this fight, but that's okay. It's 60 mana, and you can get that, so that's okay. The dude here has a chaotic rebuke aura. That means that we want to be taking him down with archers because he can reflect magic debuffs back at people, not reflect them back at people. But if you attack him, you're gonna get magic debuffs, and it can even be insanity. So we really do not want to go up and attack him immediately if we can at all avoid it. That's why I've been saving all of my archers to the end here to see if we can take him down. We might not be able to, but at least we can get him low. I don't know if I end up having to move in one of the animals in order to take him down. Oh, it seems that I didn't. We lost the spiders, but as I said, it didn't matter that much. And we're on to the next fight. Let's just take a small break there and see what we had. Still quiet in the early game, as you can see, but we've moved out a little bit more. I think this is turn 16. We've gotten access to wild speakers now. This is one of our stacks. We've also spread out now, gotten a second hero, gotten a second stack so that we can take on more of the world at once. I don't usually bring them together because you should be able to deal with it with just the one hero stack. And in this case, I also had the bird, which is a engagement unit. I think I used it for here, or it's just nearby in order to be there as well. Taking the high ground, put a summoned unit at one side. This is the worms you can see up here are from the wild speaker. And my hero is down here in order to summon in an elemental here in a second. They have to go around to each side, so they will have to engage with our our summoned units all, shoot us up there, but we have quite the superior firepower. Once again, we get the water elemental. He's not bad for us. It can shoot people away. This guy got a little close, and I think he got marked as prey, so now he's dying. And I do believe these are the ones that have the evasion trait, whatever it's called, for their race, which was very annoying. One of my early enemies, and I believe these are from his race, had that trait, which is not good when you're playing Archer early game, because since we're doing the sneak thing, we don't have the unicorn trait thing. I mean, we don't have the accuracy bonus that you often have in Archer builds, and you could quite feel that a lot against this race. It wasn't that much of an issue. We still hit quite a lot, and as you can see, they have to engage our summoned units, so it doesn't really matter that much. We can just stand and shoot them here. Mark as prey, snap, 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 and down they go. Nice little arch in the flag in the end there can get. So we didn't take any damage, basically, as you can see. We are a bit further in now, turn 34. This was just an auto combat here we tried last once again. So we are going to trade. The reason we're seeing a lot of auto combats that we lose are that those are kind of the interesting ones. I've put a few in there that we win as well, just so that you can see it's not because the build as such is also awful at auto summoning. I'm really good at speaking right now. It's not because the build as such is awful at auto fighting. It's just not great. Usually these Archer Unicorn units are quite hard for the AI to control. It has a tendency of just teleporting them into position to shoot at stuff and not really caring about their safety. So we lose them a little more often than with some other builds at least. As you can see here, I'm taking up a position where they'd have to either go all the way around the water, go through the water, or engage with our summoned units. So we have the Tome of Artificing online now, and the Golem Assistant trait is there, so we have the Golem Assistant now, yet another unit that we don't care about. Summoning in a Battle Mage here is great, because this has quite a lot of reach, we would call it that. As you can see, they're very sturdy, these guys. Compared to what else we are facing, we didn't even manage to take down that guy, but they still had to go and engage our summoned dudes, and we have a nice line here in the water that they can't really get to. Now you should be able to see the power of the unicorn. I think that's why I included this fight specifically. Snap, snap, snap. Take out that dude in the water. Just 3 shots and he's dead. This guy gets into position so he can be the target dummy for whatever else. I hope they're going to be shooting at him. I don't really know, to be honest. He can move up 2 hexes in water, even though he had the so he could eat and get a little health back. And just snap, snap, snap. Take them out of commission as much as possible. These ones are quite locked down, and we have the unicorn over here to deal with it. So we just like to take care of the battle mages before they start shooting at our stuff. Killing momentum from the wild speaker means that the unicorns become really strong. You can see here it took out almost 2 units. It had a little help from the golem assistant, of course, but that's it. And now some of them moved in to be able to shoot at our archers, but some of them shot at our elemental as well. Just need to take care of these guys over here, and I'm quite certain we have a unicorn that can deal with that. It hasn't blinked yet, so getting all the way up here should not be a problem, even if we put units into position around it. Snap, snap, take down the one, and Marcus Prey on the other one, so that we could get it down before it. I don't even know if that was happened. We may have just crit there. This is just an auto combat mid game. Took on something random, took a little bit of damage around, just to show that it is doable. Get a lot of nice loot, as you can see down there. Yet another auto combat in the mid game. We're just taking the fights that we know we can win. That's one way here. This one might be one where we have to take it. Yeah, as you can see, there's an infestation nearby with some very very strong units. They upgraded from bone dragons to tier 5 stuff later on as well, and I never got around to really dealing with them before the very late game. So we just had to like truck through with them as best we could. I'm considering whether or not I should take the loss here of these 2 units, but sometimes you have to say, is it really that important that your units survive? Maybe you can save the time and it's going to be okay. You can still win. But in this case, we took the fight anyways, and I'm quite certain. You can also see I play a lot faster here than I do in some of the early games, because our army size is strong enough that we can easily handle whatever we are facing here. We should not take any losses. Call of the Wild buffs all of our units. We're falling back here in order to engage them with all of our strength at once, instead of having to engage them like as a snake. Getting our summoned units into position. Double golem assistant here. And they are engaging with our front line of summoned units as they're supposed to. Take them down as best as we can. Move the wild speakers. This is always nice with the wild speakers. Move them into actual flanking position. I might even have wanted to blink up there to get a real flank. I think he was supposed to die there and he didn't. It takes so long with these fights, where you have your entire army against sometimes their entire army, like so many units to do stuff with. This is why I very much prefer when you are able to auto combat once you get to that place. But sometimes you can't. As you can see here, this is a good showcase of the power of Marcus Prey. 3 shots from 3 archers, and the Wyvern, which could have been the trouble unit here, is down, and now it's just about mopping up the rest of them. Take down stuff, take down stuff. This is good. This is an extremely boring fight, to be honest. But it's in the middle of the game. It's a showcase of how stuff sort of works at that point. We have a lot of units at this point, a lot of cavalry, as you can see. The Call of the Wild was a good showcasing of the power of that. Just we had a turn where we only were falling back, so buff everything, and we're not taking a lot of damage here. As you can see, the only thing that's actually been hurt at all really is our summoned stuff. They rout, and we are happy. That was a lot better than using units. Once again, this is how we want to be going in the middle game. We can deal with stuff by auto-combating instead of actually having to deal with the fights. It's the same annoying infestation that I was talking about before. Now we're at the point where we are engaging our second enemy. We've destroyed our first a while ago. I don't have a lot of footage from that, unfortunately. None of it was really that interesting. Here, as you can see, we took the first stack by engaging and taking the auto combat. We lost 2 units, and they still have 3 full stacks left. This is sort of their doomstack army, and we wanted to deal with that. The footage you're seeing now, the reason I've included that is I see this as sort of one fight. We wanted to be able to take out all of their doomstack in one go. I had some extra animals nearby that I had not included in the first one. I tried to take like maybe not the strongest army I could get from around here, but something akin to that effect. We move them up, summon in the extra animal in order to be able to have something to engage with. That was a problem before. They were quite a way away. They were in the city that I was seeking, and then they all ran out here to be annoying. This is taking a long while for it, and as you can see, this auto combat was really freaking horrible. And after we'd taken it, this is a replay you're watching now. After we'd taken it, you can see we didn't lose a single unit. And this is going to showcase the power of specifically the Tome of Doom Herald. This is quite an even fight. Some of our units are a bit hurt from before. We've tried to like get the worst hurt ones away, so that we had mostly the ones left that had some strength left in them. As you can see here, this is just a replay, and it takes forever because they are awakening everything over there on their side. I've spread out and tried to lure, if possible, their melee units down the middle so I can fall away afterwards. Unfortunately, not all their melee units go down there, but we still get the 3. These polearm units are very hard for me to deal with because of cavalry and large targets. And that's quite annoying. We have a couple of knights online by now. In this playthrough, it took me a little while longer to get the knights online, partly because our start simply wasn't as good, and partly because I was focusing a bit more on the archers in this version. I had a version earlier where I didn't take Tome of Pyromancy, and Tome of Pyromancy actually helps our archers quite a bit. So actual flanking, strategic flanking, not mechanical flanking, of course. You can see they get critical hit a lot by this point. No flanking going on, unfortunately, at this point. Oh, in these positions. We can fall away from the middle, just get up to the side here. They've been lured into a position where they can't really do anything other than attack the summoned units. And then we have our poor big wolf here. This is not the resurgence one, this is just a random animal. And he's gonna get a lot of heat coming his way. We have an animal units here that gets killed but doesn't die because of Keeper's Mark, which we have online at this point as well. As you can see, the polearm dudes are hurting it quite a lot down here, and we really don't want it to die if we can at all avoid it. We don't have any healing available. We do pick up, I believe, Tome of Faith after we've taken everything else at some point in this playthrough at least, but not anytime soon. And that would have allowed us a bit of chance there. But what we need to do instead is simply end the fight before this guy dies. Or get him out of there, but there's no real easy way to get him out of there. Summon in some undeads now. Just because summoned units are awesome. Take out stuff and unleash the beast on the poor wolf. This is a one unit army. We can take down these guys, it goes low, and then we hurt the shield units enough that it can attack them without dying. Just get them low enough that it dies without them retaliating, basically. So we get the little extra fight out of it. Over here, taking down stuff with one of the tier 4 units we've summoned with greater summon animals, and now you can see they have started routing, and boom, there they went, all of them. I believe at this point I'm gonna, cancelling the replay because the rest of it was boring and just mopping up. Yet another auto combat, we're gonna accept this one. It's just some random stuff happening down where one of our first enemies was. Sandrin's main city now. She herself is not there. It took me like, I don't know, 10, 15 turns more in order to actually defeat her as an enemy, because she was hidden away somewhere else. You can see a lot of damage going on here. We don't really accept that, so we need to take this one as manual combat as well. And after we do that, they're all dead and we're all alive. This is how we want it to be. This is also probably going to be a long fight, and it is one of those where the build is not entirely online yet. We don't have the combo available, but we are still in a quite strong position with a couple of knights by now, splattered around different situations all the way over the map. And some of them are actually here for this fight. You can see mostly down in this group down here towards the south of the screen. Lots of units moving. They had a hero for some reason go all the way out here, so we had a nice target down here to take care of. It's turn 1, so we don't have Mark as prey available, but we can just gang up on him as much as we please and take him out. I want to go up and take out the easy targets here with my Knight and Unicorn. They can blink in, they can deal with it. As you can see, the Unicorn had been once again buffed with the Unleash the Beast, so it took out both the Archer and the Tower. This guy here is going to be trouble. You can see how little damage they take, which quite annoying. And the same with the hero here. So we are definitely in a bit of trouble when we don't flank, and when they have high defense. These units are quite decently defensive, but still gonna be okay. I go away from the top part. I moved all of my units away so that they will have to fall out in order to get to me, or go around in the middle, and that means that we get a lot of turns without them having to bother. He blinks down here for some reason. I have no clue what the AI is doing half of the time. And you can see our Poor cavalry knights getting surrounded now by pikemen, polearm men. Both of our first enemies were spec'd into polearms. I believe that's a cultural thing. Not spec'd into, so they had the culture, which was really, really sad for us in this build, and probably also why we had a bit harder time with the early game here than in some of my other playthroughs. But there was no doubt that the build was still the strongest version of it, though. Now we can Marcus Prey this guy that's standing here in the position, and he takes quite a lot more damage for us to get in there. Just blink past him with the ones that the melee that needs to go in, and shoot him with the archers, so we don't need to engage with this dude. Same up here. Blinking in, attacking from a flank position. It's also why the unicorn phase ability is so insanely nice. What happened there was a spur to action on our Dark Knight, which allowed it to use the Dark Surge ability and take out both of the units that were standing around the unicorn here. Unicorn had brought one of them low. You can see the enemy has routed now. There has been enough losses and enough morale damage, but the fight hasn't stopped because they still have the towers. And it will take us a little while longer. So we are going to actually have to clear those before we can claim the fight. I usually don't claim the battlefield, as I think it's called. When we get the option, I just click no, because I want to write them down and kill them so as they don't just respawn in some other city somewhere. We don't want that to happen. And it doesn't take that long usually to do that. It is also a task that you can actually allow the AI to do, so you can just click auto combat from there and let that handle it. But as you can see here now, we are finally in the position where we should be able to get it down. I don't know whether or not I'm going to accept it once we actually get it here. We're going to make a bit of use of our mobility on our archers as well in order to get them up to this part of the fight that we didn't want to engage with before. Now that we killed everything else, this was exactly what we hoped would happen. All of the dangerous melee units that we don't want to play with are up here. And now we get the option to claim the fight, right? Oh yeah, we did get the option, but it didn't show up, of course, because this is a replay. Good. And the rest of this is just mopping up, so you get to watch that. That's great. Hope you're having fun. And that should be just about it. And I'm afraid the last guy down here actually gets away. We can blink into position, take a few shots. But it should not be enough to actually kill him. So he gets down here, but he dies, as you saw before. So it doesn't matter. Still, now we are towards the end game, 53. Just an auto combat went a little wrong. We're going to try it again. This is, I think we have a single Dark Knight, but it's not a unicorn riding one. It's just one we've recruited from a free city through the, what is it called, Legis effect. Rally of the Legis is what it's called. We have a vacant instant, as you can see there. And I think this might be the first time we used it in this playthrough, even though we don't have the nice combo with the knights. Fall back with the archers, get the random summoned. I think this is summoned corrupt souls. They look so nice with the wings on. And mind control of a knight is not fun, but at least we can snap and get it back in a second. Yeah, there we go. And now we just want to take out the other guy. La 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 la. Marcus Prey, get those guys down, please. And this is not our ruler stack, so we're not going to be awakening in this round. I may have just thought that it was too much mana to waste on this, because we already took care of most of the stronger units. Not exactly certain what I thought there. Probably just that. We are still in the position where we are fine. Just yeah, as you can see there, Marcus Prey on that one, and just goes down. It melts like butter. I think I've said that sentence too much this video, and let's see if I can avoid saying it anymore. Marcus Prey. Good. This is a fun one. Just to showcase the power of Totem of the Wild is what it's called. This is Sandra of House Eniac. We've taken all of her cities at this point, but the ruler is still alive. She ran off before we got to the extra cities she had somewhere down in the underground. So this is after the other fight. It's turned, I don't know, 50 something, maybe even 60 at this point. It's very late, at least. And she's just been escaping all the way. A random archer went out to find her, not to actually kill her, but to find her. And we found her army in that they attacked us. And I figured, okay, we might actually be able to deal with this. Just keep the archer away, summon in units. Because we have the buffs from our build, these random animal units are actually, and as you can see here, combat went out of sync. This was just a replay and something went wrong. I don't know exactly what. So the replay went wrong, but we just killed the other hero with the animals as well. But that's the power of it, getting attacked on a wounded archer by 2 level 6 and level 4 heroes, and we still win the fight. I like that. That is an option. Here we have a tier 3 wonder, I believe. And I wanted to showcase the power of Awakened Instincts, and then it's against Mage Banes. So this is one of those fights where I took it because I actually wanted to. I needed to kill the wonder as well, but this was one of those where I actually wanted to like show how the build was functioning, and then we don't get to Awaken Instincts here. As you can see, we don't have a full stack of knights yet. We still have some archers along. I do have some more knights around the place. We are at like turn 52, 53 or something at this point. Unfortunately, these damned Mate Banes, and this is even a fight where we needed to finish it early, or we want to finish it early so that we don't get too many other extra units summoned in. Summon into our backline, go for our frontline summoned stuff. And not summon into, phase into, he phased into, whatever it's called. We want to get the Mate Banes down. I think I believe that we need to get them both down, and they also spawned another one, so I think that we need to get all of them down. But as it turns out, once I kill this guy, this was once again Surge by Spur to Action and the Dark Surge. You can see it didn't deal a lot of damage at this point. I hadn't gotten the stuff for making it more powerful, but it's still nice. I did not notice at this point that I had my my spells. I was just keeping on killing because there was still Mage Banes alive. Now I noticed it, and here we go. So Awakened Instincts, this must have been the first time I cast it, and it's not in the most relevant fight for it, I must admit. But it was still fun. And the first time I casted this playthrough, obviously. But there's also another fun thing that I just noticed here. My ruler, as you may have already noticed, does not have wings, angel wings, because for some reason there was some bug where it defaulted to not including him, and I only noticed this like this much later than we got the Angel Eyes thing online. So he does not have it, and therefore he went berserk. So he doesn't have the option to cast Overchannel and take out the rest of this by now. What is really, really lucky, and probably the reason I didn't have to go, I don't know how many turns back in order to get Angel Eyes on him as well, so that I could showcase the build for people, was that that fight we just saw before. That fight specifically ended up, let's just keep this rolling, ended up giving him the headband of anti-magic or whatever it's called, so that he could not be influenced by magic. Or by berserk mind control effects, whatever they're called. Berserk and mind control. Mind influencing magic? I don't know what they call it in the game. So this is the fun fight. I think I've got a clip of this one and the first one. This is just a stack of tier 3 to 5 stuff. Or tier 2 as well. I make a mistake here in that I attack the small guy there instead of attacking one of the dragons. I should have taken one dragon with this guy over here and one dragon with the other one, so that both dragons had gotten hit by a charge. I think I just missed it, but it's very easy to see that one of the dragons did not get his defensive aura cancelled. You can see he's taking basically no damage from everything, and everything else around him is dying here. There we go with the first Awakened Instincts. And I think that might have been enough, if not for the fact that we Or maybe it is enough anyways. Just take the one. Yeah, seems to be. No damage on our units at all. They didn't get to do anything. We just rode up there. There's another position. This is also one of those that I showcased for where the build is actually done at this point. So these are just like fights to I can show how it works. And I stopped recording at some point after this, so we might be getting towards the end here. This fight was quite fun. I took it. I engaged with an animal because I couldn't reach it just before. Unfortunately, it was the archer animal. The archer animals don't get the effect of the keepers thing, and you can see there's a ton of awakeners here, which is usually a scary unit, but really not for this sort of build. As you can see, they go up. This guy would have been alive if he'd just not been a stupid archer animal, and would have been still standing there nicely. At least now there's room to get a knight into position. They move up. They kill our summoned guys. You can see the golem assistant gets the benefit of Keeper's Mark. Get this guy into the position. The rest of them in there as well. I don't know if I noticed it before, but I did a thing where I moved them into position first, especially when I'm going for like the same group, so that they get the benefit from standing next to each other. Here we summon the Banshees, or just an undead unit. Luckily Banshees. It hurts morale on these, awaken instincts, and we're now in position to do what we want to be doing. This guy. Yeah, we go for the money shot. And there again, Dark Search on the large group of units that already probably have low morale. And now they've already routed, all of them. And the rest of it is just riding around, clearing up. Because this was meant to be a showcase fight, I use Awaken Instincts once more, just to clear it all off in one round. I wouldn't do that usually, of course. I also make a mistake over here. I should have heard that guy with a charge attack on the first Awaken Instinct instead of going for the Dark Search immediately, as I did with the other knight in that side. So each knight over there took out 2 Awakeners to the right, and the rest of them just like took out everything in here. This guy almost gets away. There's one over there that almost gets away as well, but our archers, no, our knights can easily ride them down and kill them. And we get, once again, not a flawless victory, because stupid animal was an archer thing, but we don't. We take a little bit of damage from the Awakeners, but very much not. Very much not. That's not what it's called. Very little. I think we'll call it that instead. This is another example of we have something going on elsewhere on the map. This is another ruler. As you can see, it's one of my previous ones. I think he's called Vasper. Yeah, just another version of the same build. But controlled by an AI, and he gets hopelessly stumped at this point because he's just building weird units instead. This is just auto fight. We lose a few animals, but the mana cost to get those back is so little that it doesn't matter at this point. So thank you for joining me, if you have been. I've been Shandron, and you've been awesome. And this was a long, rambling piece of mess, but I'm still going to put it up there because I got the request to do so. And I hope, if you are still here, that you liked it, of course. Check out what else is on my channel, and don't forget to do the YouTube stuff. Bye-bye.